Shalom, Koholah, Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, Bashmiel Chachodash, the ones who apostles of great millstone that rule well, and Shalom to you brothers in the highways and byways doing the work sincerely and faithfully and continually fighting that good fight of faith. Lord willing, we are found in that number to be delivered. Alright? So I believe I'm going to entitle this one Evil Men. Alright? Because here we are winding down, the end of this thing, and you got men running around talking about people lost their oil. Okay? Primarily the men that taught you. These men who have been laboring, who have sacrificed every ounce of their life, who has put their hands to the plow, who have done good deeds, who have continually fed the flock. All right? These men whom now you say have lost the oil, what does that make you, man? What does that make you? If these men lost the oil and now you feel that you believe that the Lord is now truly dealing with you and no one else, I'd be fully afraid if I was you, man. I'd be afraid. Because now you're crossing lines that could possibly get you put to death, man. This is 2 Timothy 3, and I start at 12. And it says, Yea, and all that will live godly in Yahushua Mashiach shall suffer persecution. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. You see? Evil men and seducers. If you're trying to bring an accusation against a man or men who've suffered and has been through and has, just done all that they possibly could for this word, for this truth, and for the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, for you to come make a comment such as they lost their oil. And that just goes to show you ain't spiritual. You are not a spiritual man. So from there, let me do this here. Let me do it this way here. Let me go here. All right. Now we're going to get into the book of Samuels. This is 1 Samuel chapter 26. And I'm just going to get right down to the point here. I'm going to go to 26 and I'll start at 8. And this is just going to point out a simple, action, I should say. Verse 8. Then said Abishai to David, The Most High has delivered thine enemy into thy hands this day. Now therefore let me smite him, I pray thee, with the spear even to the earth at once, and I will not smite him a second time. And David said unto Abishai, Destroy him not, for who can stretch forth his hand against the Lord's anointed and be guiltless? All right. So even after all Saul was doing to David, trying to kill him, throwing spears on him, had him on the run, David still held his integrity and said, wait a minute, who can put forth their hand against the Lord's anointed? All right. Which now in turn brings you to the present time. You men don't have no integrity. You have zero integrity, man. Zero. Here are the men that have taught you and who have continually fed you through the years. All right? Now all of a sudden, you have now become, far more seasoned than the apostles, and have been given the eye salve to say or determine whether or not somebody lost the oil or not. You're walking on thin ice, man. Coming up against the Lord's anointed. You think about it. Let's think about it now. All these men who are professing themselves to be men of the Lord. Where's their works? What are their actions? What have they done? A lot of them have done absolutely nothing. But it's no secret that the apostles, they've been laboring, man. But for an evil man to come forward and say that they've lost their oil, that man is straight up evil, man. And may the Lord deal with you accordingly. Alright? So from there, let's go back. And let me go here. Right, this is Ecclesiastes 4 and starting at 9. It says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe unto him that is alone when he falleth, for he has not another to help him up. All right. So, and just by listening and watching and learning from the apostles, man, it's safe to say that out of all the people, Elder Apostle Tahar, he's been the most, I'll say, he's been very sincere in his words. And I'll give you some examples of what I'm talking about. Even with Al-Azhar, all right, Elder Apostle Tahar always says, good things about the man. Okay, let's look at Nate. Now, Elder Apostle Tahar used to say many years ago that the Lord may bring Nate out of that. All right. High Priest Ariyah, and that's a man where me personally, I don't like to talk about High Priest Ariyah, in a negative light, because I don't want to say in a negative light, but I've always told the men in this camp, be careful when you're bringing up topics, especially of men from the old time, because you weren't there, so you really don't know. Leave that to men who've been there. All right, but that's just something that I had within me. All right, but Elder Apostle Tahar would always be like, the Lord's gonna bring him out of that. Okay, so it's those things where, as much as they've been doing and going off to a certain degree, Elder Apostle Tahar was always like, the Lord's gonna bring them out of that, or the Lord's gonna help them. But look at this guy. Let's say one of the apostles was going through it, and knowing that you've learned from the apostles, wouldn't it be, wouldn't you show, some character and extend your hand out to an apostle? I'm like, hey brother, if there's something I can do, anything, I can do for you, just don't hesitate. May the Lord be with you. But instead, guys who are selfish, self-centered, greedy, and just, wanting the shine or limelight, are gonna make statements such as, oh, they lost the oil. I'm not gonna try to help them. They lost the oil. But that's how an evil man will operate. He don't give a damn about the next man, whether he taught him or not. He don't give a damn. We ain't saying you got to love the apostles. We ain't saying you got to, come down on bended knee. But at the end of the day, these were men that you looked up to. These were men that you thanked Yahweh Shai for setting up. And now all of a sudden, these men are no good. Now they at the barrel, at the bottom of the barrel. You see? Evil men. These are things that evil men do. So the case being said this way, the apostles have maintained their integrity from day one, since they came into the truth. All right? And the level of sincerity when you watch their shows, when you listen and you hear their voice, the level of sincerity, you can tell they also are going through hell, man. They also are catching hell to a certain degree. Okay? Continuing on. Yeah. Let me go back to Timothy. As I said, they also are going through catching hell. But what is verse 12 says this, and I'll read it again. It says, yea, and all that will live godly in Yahushua Mashiach shall suffer persecution. All right? There are times where, you kind of just, sometimes you be in a funk where your spirit may not be lifted up, or you may be just, down for a minute. Because it happens, man. It happens. And your enemy will try to seize that moment. You see? Instead of showing true brotherly love and hitting the brother up, yo, brother, if you're going through it, hang in there. I'll keep you in my prayers, so on and so forth. Your enemy is going to try to seize the moment of your downfall, of your low point. And that's not brotherly, man. And this is why, you men are outside this thing of ours. You ain't brotherly, man. So once again, this was just a quick thought that was going through my mind, concerning evil men and the shit that they do. All in all, man, the Lord has set up the apostles for a reason. And if you're a spiritual man and you truly believe, you'll know that you are not to make any kind of accusation concerning the apostles or concerning any brother in the truth who's been steadfast, who's been diligent, who's sacrificed, who put their life on hold to feed others, man, to help others. So, Lord willing, I'll see you brothers another show. I say shalom.